Capital, I'm Scott Van Pelt, 11:33, and I'm not tired yet. Seahawks maintain their hold atop the NFC West. We'll hear from Russell Wilson momentarily. Also, Adam Schefter with the latest on the Ravens' COVID outbreak and the impact on the NFL schedule. And the ripple effects are many. We also have bad beats. A little late to change them now. Back to the Monday Nighter. Playoff implications for both teams, despite the sub-500 record for Philadelphia. Carson Wentz.
And that's what championship teams do. And so I just love playing. I love being prepared. I love winning, and I love the process more than the end result.
Let's talk about this kid.
All right, we welcome in Louis Riddick and Brian Greasy. And fellas, it's a workmanlike game from Seattle. I guess DK Metcalf's the one guy that just jumps off the screen, had 177 yards, which until the very end was more than everybody else in the field combined. And Louis, I'll just start with you as a guy who used to make his living trying to slow guys like that down. When you look at him, what are you seeing?
I'm seeing a problem. And I think Darius Slay saw a problem tonight, too. When you have that kind of size, speed, strength, rapport with your quarterback, it's tough to defend, Scotty, especially when you're one-on-one all night long, like Darius Slay was tonight for the most part, because that's how Jim Schwartz likes to call the game. And Darius Slay's paid a lot of money, and they expect him to be able to match up against guys like this and be able to control them to some degree and not have them go off on you. You saw Jalen Ramsey do it, so he expected Darius Slay to have a little bit better of an outing than he did tonight. But for DK Metcalf and for the Seattle Seahawks fans in that organization, they've got to sell something between him and Russell Wilson that's going to be here to stay.
Speaking of problems, Brian, I didn't want to start the conversation here with the losing quarterback, but I feel like that is the overarching conversation that comes out of watching this game. You got a guy in Carson Wentz, and you all were right to point out it's not that many years ago he's out in the Coliseum and he's cooking, man. It was Carson that was cooking, right, with Philadelphia before that knee injury. But you pay him $128 million. I know the O-line's a mess, and you guys spent a lot of time in the back end of the game talking about it. But even when he's got time, he's off target. As a guy, Brian, who played that position, what is it that you see and don't see from Carson Wentz right now?
I think it's a confidence issue, Scott. And I think it's an accumulation of a lot of bad outings for not just Carson, but for this offense in general. And everybody just wants to bypass the offensive line. I don't. I'm sorry. Like, if you don't have time to sit back there in the pocket, then it begins to affect you. And even when you do have a clean pocket then, Scott, you're wondering, am I going to get hit in the back because I have, a guy in Jordan Mailata that's playing left tackle that's only started 5 games. So it begins to creep into your head. And then the play calling starts to get conservative. So yes, Carson Wentz needs to play better. Doug Peterson needs to coach better. The offensive line needs to play better. The management, the front office here in Philadelphia need to get better talent around Carson Wentz. I still believe in Carson Wentz, and you might mock me for that. I think he's a good quarterback. He's proven that he can be a good quarterback when you have the pieces around him.
No, not at all. And what you're I get it. And again, you played that position, so you know better than anyone how troubling it can be to have an O-line in front of you that is not able to keep you kind of upright. But I just feel like you're seeing misses when he's got a clean pocket, and the confidence speaks to that. It would make sense to me. And I just wonder, Louis, and you know that town so well, because you're still kind of in it in theory, but you're not in it if this is how you're going to play. You know what I'm saying? So I just wonder, and you made it the point during the game, what are you supposed to do? I'm not saying that making a switch at quarterback gives you a better option to win. I just wonder if they're kind of boxed in by the money and the situation, Louis.
Yeah, they're boxed in by both. You're right. You're kind of in purgatory as far as your season is concerned. You would like to figure out what you have in the future as far as Jalen Hurts is concerned, because you drafted him in the 2nd round, right? So you start thinking along those lines from a long-term perspective. The short term says we still have a chance to win the division if somehow we can get ourselves together here and win a few games. So what that usually leaves you is right down the middle where they are right now, which is you have a little bit of hope, but you also know we have a lot of work to do. And that's where the fans, Scotty, get absolutely fed up, because they're at this point where they're just like, just blow the whole thing up. Trade him, fire everybody, start over again. And as a front office, when you're going back into that building over there in the NovaCare right down the street right here tomorrow, you're sitting there going, we're not out of it, but we're out of it. So what do we do? And that is the worst position to be in, but they put themselves in this position.
Yeah, and you